Hey everybody, it's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, October 27th, 2024. What color friendship bracelet goes best with handcuffs? Do you want to go like orange to match the jumpsuit, or maybe do a contrast, black and white? Oh man, Daniel is under arrest for Heather's murder, and I think this is the best plot that we've had in years. I love it. I'm having so much fun with this story. I have never been rooting so hard for Phyllis in my whole life. She nailed it immediately. Phyllis was like, Heather has been murdered and Daniel is being framed for it. Who might the culprit be? Gee, could it be the person who has been harassing them for the past several months and who has also admittedly been on and off her meds, family worried about her? I mean, yes, Phyllis. You nailed it. It is Sharon. It's all Sharon. Keep going. The audience is with you, Phyllis. I want to see Phyllis confront Sharon immediately, and you know that's going to happen next week. I love that there's that little bit of anticipation each week with this story, because I want Phyllis to confront Sharon immediately, but Y&R is slow trickling it out, you know? Like, instead of Phyllis doing it, Daniel did it this week. Daniel talked Phyllis into not confronting Sharon, and he went directly to Sharon instead. And that moment when Daniel shows up at Sharon's door and he's just giving her that look. He's got his head down a little bit and he's just giving her this straight look dead into her eyes to find out if she is doing this to him. Oh, it was just so good. And somehow Sharon was able to wriggle out of it. I mean, I think partially it's because Sharon still kind of has the emotional upper hand in the power dynamic between she and Daniel. Like, Sharon is older than Daniel. I think Daniel's probably always naturally seen her as an authority figure, you know? I mean, I think Daniel still feels eternally indebted to Sharon over the Cassie thing, so it makes sense that Sharon was able to flip it on him. And she did. She turned the whole confrontation into a therapy session and started to talk to Daniel about how he's displacing his feelings. And it's totally natural, and I'm sorry that you're going through this. I mean, Sharon just spun it right around on him. But Phyllis, no. Just no. Sharon and Phyllis are equals. They're on the same playing field. They're rivals. They've been rivals for years. So Sharon is not going to be able to emotionally manipulate Phyllis so easily. Well, since Phyllis couldn't go to Sharon directly, Phyllis went to Chance directly instead, and she straight up told Chance, Sharon is the one who murdered Heather. Sharon is the one who is framing Daniel. It only looks like Daniel's guilty. Sharon is behind this. But Chance, well, he just came from a pretty cool crime scene investigation. So I can't blame him for being just enthralled by that. He got to shine this really cool blue blood light all over everything in Daniel's apartment. And he was just like stricken at how cool that was. So he was like, all right, yeah, we found our murderer. He shined that blue light and there was a big puddle on the floor, which really should have been a big puddle, but also a huge streak, which led right out the door and right down the stairs. But most importantly, Chance also found the murder weapon, an octopus. An octopus did it, you guys. Case freaking closed. The octopus did it. Oh. Well, thank goodness that Daniel has an attorney who hates octopuses. Christine had an octopus put into her honeymoon bed by Phyllis 30 years ago, and so she is certainly not going to let another octopus get away with murdering Heather and framing Daniel for it. No. OMG, the irony. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Christine did not waste any time getting back to Genoa City, sending Lucy to be with Danny and the tour, Danny and company. She's going to be cradled into the arms of the tour company. I mean, like, she's got to get out of the way. It's about to get messy. But I'm really glad that Daniel and Lucy did have that goodbye, by the way. I really felt like the friendship bracelet making scene was very, very tender, very, very important, and it was a really great visual too. Just, ooh, the colors of the string, and yeah, they've got it pinned to a pillow and they're both braiding while the scene is going on. I just thought that was really great. Plus, back in the day, Daniel was known for having his whole mess of bracelets on his wrist, and you know, Lucy gave him that snazzy new beaded blue bracelet when she came back into town, so it was only fitting that he would give her a bracelet when she was leaving town. And they chose their favorite colors, and one was represented by Heather's favorite color, and I just thought that was really great writing, whoever did that. I mean, that was a nuance that was really appreciated. And now it's time to get down to business. We are getting Lucy out of the way so that we can get nasty. You know, this is going to be no place for youngsters, especially since Phyllis is going to be on a rampage. I mean, there is nothing that is going to hold her back now, especially, like, I feel like Phyllis is going to tear Sharon apart. But then Sharon also had that moment at the end of Thursday's show where it almost kind of seems like Sharon's ready to tear Phyllis apart. So it is really going to be like these two going at it. I imagine Christine is going to be caught in the middle because Christine is going to be trying to hold Phyllis back, keeping her in check so that the case doesn't get blown. Good luck with that, Christine. This is going to be an all-out battle royale. And I can't wait for it. Not only can I not wait to see Sharon versus Phyllis, but I also can't wait to see Phyllis and Christine begrudgingly working together to save Daniel. I mean, wouldn't it be crazy if Phyllis and Christine ended up as friends after all of this? Right now, I am imagining that Sharon is feeling like, I have not come this far in covering up this murder to let Phyllis destroy it for me now. Sharon seems resolved. Like, if taking care of Phyllis is the last step in this plan, then so be it. But Sharon almost cracked this week. I mean, I think we all knew it wasn't really going to happen. But after the Daniel visit, Cameron reappeared. And Cameron has been pretty quiet for the last week or two. Ever since the work got done, Cameron kind of went away. And Sharon has just been blissing out, making cookies, having picnics, and pretending that she is not covering up Heather's bloody death. And I say bloody death, by the way, because I don't think Sharon's the murderer. I don't know. I feel like I'm holding out hope still, and on the theory that maybe while Sharon was at the apartment, Daisy Carter snuck in, and she was the one that hit Heather over the head, and just, leaving Sharon to think that she did it. I mean, Lucy mentioned this week that Heather wasn't her bio mom, so maybe that's a twist in there. I just feel like with the blackout, with the fact that Sharon doesn't remember the actual point at which Heather died, I just feel like that's leaving a huge plot hole open for someone else to have come in and done it. I mean, most certainly Heather wouldn't have conked herself over the head with the octopus, and if Sharon didn't do it, then there's just got to be someone else. But Sharon thinks that she did it, and when Nick showed up at the door this week, Sharon almost confessed to him, because she's under this illusion that, hey, maybe Twinkle Nick will understand. I loved how twinkly Nick was in her fantasy version of telling him, Nick's just in the background quietly building a fire while shining. But Cameron's asking her, oh, really? Do you think Saint Nick is going to understand and totes keep your secret when you tell him that you not only murdered somebody, but you covered it up? No. I love how Phyllis is just certain. She's told Billy this week. She told Nick this week. She doesn't have any doubt in her mind that Sharon is the one behind this, and she is just gonna say it. She told Nick this week about her theory that Sharon is a cold-blooded murderer, but Nick, he didn't even entertain it. He didn't even entertain it at all. And I guess it does sound pretty far-fetched if you take it out of the context of the last couple of months of Sharon's concerning behavior. Everybody sees Sharon as the supportive town therapist. She's always helping other people with her problems. If you didn't know that she was going through problems of her own, you would think that it was far-fetched, but Nick does know that. He does know that Sharon has been going through all of these problems of her own. The fact that everyone in Sharon's life has been saying there's something wrong with Sharon, and then Sharon throws herself into Nick's arms, saying to him that she can't hide it anymore, she's a terrible person. Don't you think that would make you think twice about her innocence? Jack and Diane are very convincing. Very convincing. Because, last week at this time, I thought for sure they're staging their argument. No question. But then this week, they are either staging a breakup or they actually did break up. And I am still firmly thinking that this is all part of their plan. But I have to say, seeing Tracy watch Diane rolling her suitcases out the door and then fighting to try to get Jack and Diane to stay together, suddenly I was really worried. Because this makes me realize that I love Jack and Diane together. I want Jack and Diane to be together and stay together. And I also want to have Kyle see and feel the damage that he's done, and I want Kyle to find a way to make it right. I want Kyle's redeeming moment, and I think that is what Jack and Diane's plan is for Kyle to witness all of this and see what he's done and then have his turnaround moment. But we're not there yet. Kyle walked in, and it was right after Diane walked out. Jack told Kyle about the fact that the marriage is over, and Kyle, his first response was to go right to the athletic club and hunt Diane down and make it all about him. I found that really annoying, because he was basically just asking her, well, did you ever really love us? And it's like, get a grip, Kyle. Do you really think that, are you really buying that Diane faked all of her feelings for her family just to get a top spot at Jabot? I don't know, like, maybe that's something that you would do, but I'm sorry, I don't feel like a job at Jabot is that great of a prize to fake a marriage over. We haven't seen Diane scheming. We haven't seen Diane wavering. So I don't doubt for a minute that Diane has been sincere this whole time. I doubt Kyle's sincerity, I will tell you that. I think Kyle is the schemer. Kyle is the thief. And if he's looking for someone to judge, try looking in the mirror. And then, you know, as soon as Diane was out of the way, Kyle goes back to the house and starts bonding with Jack. And I thought, well, I wonder if now he's hoping to get Diane's job now that it's open. Kyle's the one I don't trust. Now, as for that little scene with Diane and Victor and Nikki on Friday, that really just feels like more evidence to me that Jack and Diane are staging their breakup. It seems really odd to me that Diane would ever go to Victor, of all people, and first of all, admit that she and Jack were over. Because in reality, I think that Diane would not want to give Victor the pleasure of that knowledge. But second of all, Diane asking for Victor's help to teach Kyle a lesson when she had no specifics and no plan, it just seems to me that Jack and Diane are both covering all of their bases, making sure that absolutely everyone in town believes that they are 100% broken up, don't leave anybody out of the loop. And then maybe the hope is to get Kyle to let his guard down, maybe get a confession out of him on the corporate theft, and then, I don't know, maybe blackmail him into leaving Glissade and into, you know, like, leave Glissade or we're going to turn you in and you're going to go to prison. Or I don't know, maybe they're just trying to teach Kyle a lesson that this is what happens when you choose to partner up with Victor Newman. If Victor likes who you're dating, then the relationship is probably doomed. If Victor doesn't like who you're dating, that's when it's true love. It's like Victor dislikes Cole for absolutely no reason, and he's like, Cole's the best thing that's happened to Victoria in years. But yeah, Victor wants Adam and Chelsea to be together, and their relationship has never worked out in the past. Why would it now? All I'm saying is that basically, whatever Victor thinks about your love life, do the opposite. Oh. Yeah, Adam admitted to Victor this week that he and Sally are broken up. I guess somebody had to tell him, and Victor was happy about it. He never liked that Sally Spectra anyway. Oh, but Chelsea, there's a real a real woman worthy of my son's heart. I feel like Victor's just getting sentimental about the children as he gets older. I feel like Victor only wants Adam and Chelsea together because of Connor. And I don't know, what's it matter what Victor's opinion on who his children are dating anyway? But it just so happens that Adam wants to get back together with Chelsea. And she really put the squash on that this week. I think that Chelsea just feels like, been there, done that. This road always leads to heartache. You know, I've been here before. I'm not traveling this road again. And then Chelsea found out about the Newman Media hit piece on Billy, and that really ruffled her feathers. It seems to me that Chelsea really still wants to get back together with Billy. She still wants to choose Billy. But that's really bad timing now, because guess what? Billy has fallen under the Sally Spectra spell. Okay, so here's our poll question for the week. Billy and Sally, are they hot or are they not? YRChat.com is where you can cast your vote. I have to be honest, for the past few weeks, whenever Billy and Sally had one of their commiseration sessions, I was kind of bored. I mean, there just wasn't a lot of spark, and it definitely felt to me like they were only together by default, which was the same thing I was complaining about with Billy and Chelsea. But then when they said, let's not commiserate, specifically Billy said, let's not commiserate, let's do something else, like get drunk on whiskey shots. And then they ended up kissing. I don't know. I was like, boom. Trickle, 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 trickle. Sparks. Finally. I don't know how Y&R does that. Like, how do they know if it is going to be sparks or not? Like, how do they know if two characters have chemistry? Do they just put the two actors in the room together and tell them to make out for a while? And just see if it works? Or, I don't know, is it just completely storyline related? Then the actors better just get on board and make the magic happen? But you can't really force the magic, so I don't know. Either way, I guess, yes, I was feeling the magic. I am getting a little tired of Sally's clown college, I'm a former carny spiel. It's like, I get that it's an important part of her background and I love it, but it feels like she only busts that out when she's trying to get laid. It's always what she says to guys to garner a little bit of like sympathy in a way, or I don't know, I'm non-traditional. I have I'm a former carny t-shirt, but she only uses it around the guys. It's like part of the foreplay of the Sally Spectra story. She never mentions it otherwise. I don't know. I love that part of her history, but it's just like, okay, can we see it? I mean, if you're a former carny and you got all kinds of tricks up your sleeve, and you had all kinds of tricks up your sleeve when you were living in LA on Bold and the Beautiful, but where's the tricks now? I mean, Sally never does anything lately except for romance and failed businesses. That's all. And I don't know, maybe in a way that means that she and Billy are a perfect match, because that's pretty much his life story too. Failed romance, failed business, failure everywhere. Well, but I don't know. Maybe the tides are changing. Maybe not this time. Maybe it's time for Billy and Sally to win. But winning will not be easy when you've got the full power of Newman Media coming after you. So yeah, Adam published the hit piece on Billy this week, filleting him for all the world to see. But I kind of think that that's just gonna add to Billy's fire. Because it's like sometimes when you're down, other people piling on, kicking ya, really only makes you want to fight harder. And I do think that that's who Billy is. And I think that that's who Phyllis is too. She wants to fight with Billy, fight on Billy's side, I mean. And she's willing to stay behind the curtain despite the fact that Jill told Billy to fire her. But, you know, I guess the thing is, what is the plan here? I feel like we're waffling a little bit on what's Billy going to do to turn it around? What's Victor and Nikki going to do to get the company? I'm not sure on the specifics. The whole acquisition that Billy was planning fell through. So what's going to be the thing that puts Chancellor Abbott Chancellor on the map and, you know, gives everybody, rubs it in everybody's faces that Billy is capable of success? I don't know. They need to come up with something quick before Jill gets back for Abby and Devon's wedding by Victor. Weddings by Victor. That could be Victor's bougie new side hustle. He's a wedding planner now. And for the low price of $1 million, you can have Victor plan your wedding. Any takers? Oh. Well, Nikki again tried offering Lily a job at the company that she doesn't own yet. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous if you think about it. Victor and Nikki don't own Chancellor, and yet they're working on staffing plans. It's kind of presumptuous. I have to say, I was kind of disappointed this week by Devon's confronting of Victor over what Victor did to Lily. I guess I was just expecting it to be bigger, more explosive, you know. I mean, Devon managed to work up the nerve to get a little bit lippy with Victor, but then he kind of fizzled, and Victor just worked his charm to smooth things over. I mean, Devon had all that righteous indignation to work with, and he just let Victor push him over. I guess Victor just knows that Devon doesn't want Lily working at Chancellor anyway, and so Victor just misted Devon with Devon's own agenda, saying, you know what, Lily should be working with you at Winters anyway. And then Devon was just like, oh yeah, okay, I guess you're right. Bye. See ya at the wedding. But what Devon should have said was, yeah, Lily should be working at Winters, but that's between us. And what's any of that got to do with the fact that you lied to her and manipulated her and you used my father's name to do it? Like Victor said, he said, Lily should be working at Winters. It's what Neil would have wanted. And I just felt like Devon should have said, keep Neil's name out of your mouth. It went nowhere. Devon didn't do anything. He just got right to work on getting Lily to work with him because that's what he wants. And what Nate wants is to have Audra work with them all too. I was really happy that Audra and Lily crossed paths this week. I thought that was very interesting because both Audra and Lily recently got inducted into the Victor Newman Broken Promises Club. And I was glad that Audra realized it and approached Lily to commiserate. Even if Lily didn't exactly share the camaraderie, it was a good connection for the viewers. I don't know. I personally think that Lily and Devon and Nate and Audra would all make a great team working together at Winters. Just so long as everybody realizes that it's Devon's company and it's Devon's world and Devon is the boss. You have to get creative if you want something bad enough. That was our quote from last week. It was Phyllis. I mean, that is Phyllis's life philosophy right down to a T. You got to get creative if you want something bad enough. Yeah, she was talking to Lucy in the special episode and giving her that little piece of advice. I guess it was a hard one. Congratulations to Paris, Big L, Justin, Henry, and Brittany. You guys all guessed it anyway. I have to tell you, the quote for this week absolutely shocked me. I'll give it to you now. Who said it? Speaking as a former backstabbing asshat, I have been watching Y&R for 30 years. Yeah, 30 years this year. Weird. 30 years. And I have never heard anyone use the word asshat. It was noteworthy. Do you know who used the word asshat on this week's show? Because if you do, you better go to yrchat.com to leave that guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out during next week's Y&R Chat. All right, it's comments time. Starting with Connie, who says, Abby and Devon, who the heck sends out wedding invitations that don't include a venue? Also, what bride would give her dad complete control of her wedding attire? This storyline is ridiculous. Although I have no doubts the wedding will be beautiful. Y&R does great and memorable weddings. I totally agree. It's like, don't Abby and Devon, I feel like they should get a chance to plan their own wedding. And yet, at the same time, I also appreciate the surprise that Y&R is trying to give to the audience. I think that's the idea behind it. We're going to just let Victor do his thing, and then we're going to surprise both Abby and Devon and the audience at the same time, and then the audience and Abby and Devon will be sharing that surprise. Ron says, I like the slight twist. It's about the only thing Y&R could have done to make me interested in the Abby Devon wedding. I need some suspense. Yeah, and you know what? I think it's going to be effective in that way. I mean, believe me, I know. I feel bad for Abby. Like, I don't even know what shoes to wear. But at the same time, I think that's going to add a little bit of magic to whenever we finally get there. About the venue, Steven says, well, everyone on the guest list can just be directed to meet at the foyer of Crimson Lights. Sharon can give an impromptu seminar on opening high security door locks. And then when the blacked out buses rented from the Department of Corrections arrive, everyone will board to be taken to the venue. My betting is 1060 West Addison Avenue in Chicago, only an hour and 20 minutes away from Genoa City. The bride's walk down the aisle will be precisely 60 feet and 6 inches. I think this is a fun little riddle, Stephen. Maybe I shouldn't spoil it. I looked up the address so that I could get it. And the 60 feet, 6 inches thing I get now, too. I'm just going to leave that. I'll give you guys the address again. And if you're really interested, 1060 West Addison Street in Chicago. That's where Stephen thinks the wedding will be located. Oh, let's talk about Billy and Sally. Sharon W. says, as Sally and Billy were leaving the lounge, they were so comfortable talking to one another. They were just laughing and talking about random things, and by the time they reached Sally's door, they ended up in a romantic embrace. I was holding out until this very moment. I wanted her with Adam 100%. But when you see Adam and Sally together, and also Billy and Chelsea together, there doesn't seem to be the love and affection between those couples. Billy is always having to hold Chelsea up and make sure she's doing okay. And it's the same with Adam. Sally's always having to hold Adam up, telling him that he's a great dad and saying that he has indeed changed for the better. So maybe Billy and Sally are a match made in heaven. They might actually have fun together. Ooh, that is such a good idea about the constant holding up that's a little bit one-sided. You know, couples should support each other and hold each other up, but definitely, and I guess you do go through phases where one needs more than the other, but it just seems like maybe that's the constant dynamic between Billy and Chelsea and Adam and Sally, and maybe mixing up the couples is not such a bad thing. But Dolores says, as I watched the interludes between Sally and Billy, ending with a passionate kiss, my thoughts were, here we go again, Sally. She was angry, hurt, and disapproving of Adam. She turned to Nick, so now she feels cozy and comfortable with Billy, coming from the same emotional reason she has to come again with Adam. Each time she has confided with Audra about her relationship with Adam, her continued declaration was that she still loves him and is having a difficult time getting past the emotional tie. So now she's happy to hook up with Billy. What a mess this turn of events has become to me. For in truth, not one of the men she has entered into an intimate relationship with has loved, adored, devoted, or sacrificed professionally for her more. Yes, he cheated and lied. I think this is Adam. And that is not forgivable, as well as saying that he has love for his son's mother. He's not in love with Chelsea. But now you're possibly in another revenge connection with Billy? Is she truly no longer in love with Adam, but just doing this to hurt him? As if she were hurt by his dishonesty, and deception? As my final thought, Adam, move on, for Sally is not worth chasing again. But I'm not sold that it should be Chelsea. Try getting together with Audra. That's a plus relationship for you to explore. Adam and Audra needs to freaking happen. Okay, that would be so good. Nate and Audra, I'm sorry. I love Nate and he's so dang sexy, but something's just missing for Nate and Audra for me. Maybe it was the buildup. I don't know. But if Y&R did a proper dance with Audra and Adam circling each other and then eventually, coming together, that would be hot. That would be a great couple. Hopefully then the actor and actress wouldn't hook up and spoil the chemistry, because I feel like that Adam and Sally had the chemistry and it just went away. It was all there, and then the actors got together and it seemed like then the on-screen thing got ruined. Connie says, I had two thoughts. Does this mean that they're going to have empathy for the night of passion when alcohol and comforting each other in a painful situation? Or is this revenge? Are they going to forgive Adam and Chelsea for doing the same thing they're doing? Or is this payback to get over being deceived? Time will tell. Well, Sue W. says, well, Billy and Sally are both free agents. Adam and Chelsea were not when they had their little oopsie. I guess I just didn't think about this really being revenge based. I don't know that it has a ton to do with the previous relationships. I think, yes, they started to interact with each other over the Adam and Chelsea one night stand, but I guess I get the impression that they sort of started becoming friendly on their own within that. I don't think there's a revenge agenda at all. I just think that they're kind of suddenly crashing together, and I don't know, we'll see if it sticks. Last week, I asked you guys, do you think that Billy should have complete freedom to run Abbott Chancellor? 60% of you think no! We cannot trust Billy with Abbott Chancellor. Connie says Billy's position should be all or nothing. Jill needs to give him complete control or offer him another position. This back and forth with control is detrimental to the business, to their relationship, and to his respectability within the family. Ron says, I wish Billy would go in another direction instead of business. He needs to stick to what he knows, like starting up a gambling den. Ooh, burn. He did have the bar for a while. Billy's had a couple other ideas. But Marianne V says Billy needs someone to help him. I thought Phyllis was doing a good job as COO. Billy takes too many risks and has a big ego. He should not have fired Lily. He's making bad decisions, and Jill may stop him from doing any more hurt to the company. Yeah, I think I voted that Billy doesn't need to have complete control. If it were his company that he started from the ground up, then sure, yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, he's not the owner. He is an employee, and the owner is the one who should have the control, and that's Jill. Well, Dolores, talking about Diane, says, Diane leaving the home and marriage, then taking a moment to talk with Victor and Nikki, assured me that Jack and she have a master plan. They are gaslighting the good residents of Genoa City, I feel, especially to take down Victor Newman. Top him at his own game to destroy Chabot and Jack using his son Kyle, and to extract revenge for his misguided reason regarding Nikki being in danger through Jack's actions. I'm looking forward to where this is all going, as well as the final outcome of this feud between the Abbotts and Newmans. I hope it is as exciting as the Hatfields and the McCoys. Yeah, did you like the moment too when Diane was like, well, our families, and Nikki goes, don't compare your family to mine. And it's like, yeah, because you're going to lose. Tanya says, I didn't like how Phyllis was mean to Diane when Diane was trying to be nice. Phyllis could have just said, thank you. That was an interesting scene. What was up with that brief little moment? Like, so much else going on with Diane, so much else going on with Phyllis. They really haven't been in each other's orbit lately, and yet they had that moment of coming together. And I wonder if some of that's just to continue to lead the audience into thinking that Jack and Diane really have broken up. Maybe showing us that Phyllis was always saying that Diane was a gold digger. So maybe since the audience is on Phyllis's side being right about Sharon, maybe the hope is that the audience will believe that Phyllis was right about Diane too, and that way the twist comes as a bigger twist. I don't know. Well, let's get into the main topic of the show right now. Diana says Chance needs to be taken off this case ASAP. He has already ruled out that Sharon is not capable of murder. He has a biased opinion. This will not work. He is also dating the suspect's sister. Surely there must be someone else at the police department that can be given this case. I mean, yeah, I would say it's like a glowing neon sign. Chance is biased. And honestly, this is probably my favorite comment of the week, coming from Bracken Yoga, who says, has Chance not considered that he was with Daniel when he was receiving texts from Heather's phone? That's so good, Bracken Yoga. Yes, they were at the bar together. He got texts from Heather's phone with Chance sitting right there. Isn't that enough to make Chance suspicious? T. Nicole says, I would love it so much more if we saw Chance actually being suspicious of Sharon, and he knows in his gut that something is off about her and agrees with Phyllis, but because of the evidence laid out and the protocols he has to follow, he has no choice but to arrest Daniel. You know what? Yeah, Tina Cole, I think that would have been such a better direction for the Chance character, because Chance just following, as Phyllis put it, the breadcrumbs that are being laid out, it does make him look kind of dumb and kind of incompetent, on top of the fact that, as Diana said, he's biased. So I think you're right that the believability would have been much higher if Chance had the hunch, believed Phyllis, but was being forced to go along with the arrest because of the GCPD. And maybe that'll be revealed. I don't know. Sharon W. says, I loved the scene on Wednesday when Phyllis screams at Nick in the middle of society, telling him that she doesn't care about Sharon's mindset. She tells Nick, Sharon killed Heather, period. She again tells him that she knows Sharon killed Heather, and there's nothing that she would like more than to drag her butt to prison. There was a sense of understanding in Nick's eyes when she told him that, as if he could believe that it was a possibility. I loved that scene simply for the fact that the extras were a part of it, you know? Like, I don't know if you noticed that, but they actually did some close-up shots of the extras reacting to the argument that Phyllis and Nick were having in the foreground. And I don't remember Y&R ever doing that before. Extras are always extra. They're always in the background. But there was a real sense of, oh, they're having a very public argument here and people are starting to notice. Well, T. Nicole says, I'm thinking in the land of soap reality here. Now, I don't actually think Sharon killed Heather, and I think there'll be a twist, but let's just say that Sharon did kill Heather by accident. Her intention was not to kill Heather. So the part that scares me is that Sharon is about Sharon's willingness to not come clean, but I can understand here the mindset because she's scared. But second, it's Sharon's choice to frame Daniel and be okay with him going to prison for what she believes is her crime. That, I wonder, is worse than if she accidentally killed Heather because she is than if she actually killed Heather because she is intentionally framing Daniel. That's the part I would find harder to forgive about the character, regardless if Sharon was the only one who actually, if she was the one who actually killed Heather. It made me think of the Adam and Delia storyline. Adam hitting Delia was an accident, but him covering his tracks and hiding it is what made him look horrible at the time. T. Nicole, that is so good, so smart, and such a great pullback. Because yeah, there's the accident, and then there's the covering it up, which is systematically worse. And then Sharon taking it a step farther, not only covering it up, but as you say, framing Daniel for it. This is funny. Sue W. says, I get such a kick over how the viewers' opinions shift with the storylines, because currently the favor is shifting to all Phyllis. Phyllis is the one who viewers were darn near puking over not that long ago, and who knew fan darling Sharon would fall so far from viewer grace? Not to worry, insane plot absolutions for Sharon's insanity are surely ahead. OMG, life in Genoa City could never be the same without sage Sharon dispensing her mysticism. Esther, you're a lovely hoot, but you're not cutting it. Genoa City needs their resident unicorn barista back. And anyway, I'm going to need a Nick Sharon endgame. Yes. Genoa City needs Sage Sharon back. And Tony says, speaking of Sage, Sharon left her for dead and stole her baby. That's, dang, Tony, that's good. Yeah, it's like Sharon she's become such this unicorn, you know, she's just like the sage wisdom of Genoa City, and then it's like, oh yeah, but remember Sage? Remember how Sharon left her for dead and stole her baby? So good, Tony, so good. And also, I do love your point, Sue W., about the way viewer opinion shifts. It was like, when Phyllis was faking her own death, everybody was like hating her, and now it's like, yeah, Phyllis, go! But I guess that's the thing. We always have to be rooting for someone and against someone else, right? That's the fun of it. Just like a baseball game. Huh, Stephen? Diana says, I hope Y&R celebrates Halloween this year. We haven't seen a costume party in a while. It would be good if Phyllis dressed up in a good disguise and trying to harm Sharon just as David Kimball did to Nina and Cricket. Phyllis could trap Sharon in a room and get her to confess that she murdered Heather and is trying to frame Daniel. Better yet, we could see Lucy retaliate against Sharon. Lucy tricks Sharon by pretending to cry at the party in the back room somewhere, and as Sharon is consoling Lucy, Lucy locks the door and threatens Sharon to confess her crimes, or she will make up some sort of lie about Sharon and tell it to the police. Ooh, that would be so much fun if this whole thing culminated with catching Sharon at a Halloween costume party. Ooh! And here's another fun theory from Daisy, who says, now that Phyllis is on Sharon's radar, Sharon may try to convince her that Daniel could be guilty, but because Phyllis will not relent and blames Sharon for Heather's death, Sharon lashes out at her, hitting Phyllis. Sharon, upset and angry, moves the unconscious Phyllis to the same place that she killed Cameron. And in her delusional state, Sharon tells her hallucination of Cameron that it's his turn to take care of things. She's not killing anyone else. Phyllis, starting to regain consciousness, hears what Sharon is saying to no one. Once Sharon leaves, Phyllis tries to get up, but has trouble standing and trying to focus. She keeps trying. There may be help for Phyllis, though. She is unaware that during the scuffle with Sharon, her phone was automatically calling the last person she tried to call. Paul! And what Sharon did and said is recorded on his phone. Even though Paul is still recovering, he still has his phone with him, but will he hear the message in time to save Phyllis? I like that a lot. I kind of love the idea that, like, accidentally Phyllis and Cameron become one in Sharon's mind, and then she's like trying to kill Cameron, but she's actually killing Phyllis or trying to kill Phyllis. That'd be fun. Sharon W. says, are Christine and Phyllis going to have to calm some of their animosity with each other while they put their heads together and try to dissect the mystery of what happened to Heather? It will be extremely difficult for these two to work together at all. But with Phyllis's intense love for Daniel and with Christine's love for Danny, they will both need to move forward together. Christine obviously will be investigating with her law background in mind at all times. However, Phyllis will just rush ahead with a no-holds-barred approach to seek justice for her son. Phyllis has always had the backs of her children, even though she usually proceeds in a haphazard manner. Yes, it's going to be really good to see them working together toward a common goal. But what about Danny? He offered to cancel the whole tour. You think he would. You'd think he would definitely want to cancel the tour and come home. But I like the idea that Lucy's going to be with him and she'll have someone to look after her. Diana says, hey, Danny is in Vancouver. It appears he is actually there. Is he really on tour there, or maybe just a vacation in real life? I'm happy to see that Cricket is coming back. Yay! Yeah, so was Vancouver in the background of Danny's video call? That's cool, and it's a good question. Is the actor maybe there on a vacation, or is he on a tour, or what? I don't know. I love it, though. It was nice to see that little on-location moment. This whole story is so far-reaching. The characters and the locations, I guess. I'm going all the way to Canada for this one. Okay, everybody. That's a Y&R Chat wrap. It's Chat wrap. I hope it was a good one. I hope you had a good time. I hope you go to yrchat.com to leave some comments, vote in the polls, see all the good photos there. There's so much to do and see. And do come back next Sunday so that we can have another Y&R Chat together. I really love you guys. I hope you have a beautiful week and a happy Halloween. I'll see you next week. Bye.